We recently had a chance to do an enjoyable boat tour that is a great collaboration between the Campbell River Museum and Campbell River Whale Watching, a tour boat operator in Campbell River. The Campbell River Museum runs a variety of historic boat tours that focus on various parts of the Discovery Islands, and our tour featured a visit to historic Refuge, Cove and scenic Desolation Sound. There are about a dozen large islands off of Campbell River, and so our tour just scratched the surface of places to explore in this region. The area has a rich history, and our museum host, Sandra, touched on many aspects of the First Nations inhabitants, the early European explorers like George Vancouver, up to the more recent boom and bust settlement of some of the places we would visit. After getting a safety briefing from the captain, we boarded our tour boat, the Tenacious 3.
And it took a number of years where they would live in one place for a few years and another place for a few years, including the Salmon River and Gallant Harbor on Quadra. And then he says, at the time we first established our village of Cape Mudge, the Comox-speaking people still had their big village about 2 miles south.
From there we steamed past Cape Mudge on Quadra Island and past the lighthouse at the southern tip of the island. Our first stop was an historic house built in 1936, which Sandra told us might have been the most expensive house in BC when it was first built on isolated Twin Islands. Queen Elizabeth even spent a few days here in the summer of 1994.
45, and he made a call through to his son in Tokyo from here. Right?
From there we steamed to historic Refuge Cove on West Redonda Island. There's been a store here for over 100 years, and as the name suggests, it has a great anchorage. This was our only landing location on this trip, and we were really looking forward to seeing it again since we had been here briefly in 1979 while visiting friends who had just purchased a share in the local co-op. We were very lucky to meet Lucy, who was just 1 year old when we visited in 1979, and she is now a co-owner of the store since her parents have retired. What a fun surprise. The store at one time served loggers and fishermen who inhabited these shores, but now it mainly serves boaters through the summer who sail these waters. Next we headed to Desolation Sound and across to Portage Cove and Galley Cove. Sandra told us that Portage Cove has a long history of settlement, and the First Nations developed a rich clam bed in this protected bay. Our final stop was Galley Cove, which, like many places here along this coast, was much more populated in the past. Today it is a mecca for boaters with its maze of islands and rugged snow-capped mountains as a backdrop. We then left Galley Cove and steamed back to Campbell River. Around the tip of Quadra Island, we encountered some rough water and we had waves splashing over the windshield of our boat. And then it was past the lighthouse on Quadra Island toward Campbell River and our berth at the wharf. Although we had traveled over 100 kilometers in and around the Discovery Islands, we had just seen a small amount of this scenic area. Thanks for a great trip, and we will look forward to checking out some other historic places in the Discovery Islands on another adventure with Campbell River Whale Watching and the Campbell River Museum. Check them out if you're interested in seeing this area from the water. Thanks for watching.